Close to 800,000 people die due to suicide every year. For every suicide, there are many more people who attempt suicide every year. A prior suicide attempt is the most important risk factor for suicide in the general population, according to World Health Organization fact sheet, updated August 2017 this year. With World Suicide Prevention Day celebrated this month of September, it is important that suicide awareness campaigns highlight not only the support that is readily available, but also tackle the most uncomfortable question relating to human behavior. Why do people commit suicide in the first place? It's difficult to understand how a person cannot give a value to a survival instinct, which is to stay alive from the standpoint of a non-suicidal person. According to Dr. Chiles and Dr. Straw's book, Clinical Manual for Assessment and Treatment of Suicidal Patients, the thought of suicide most often occurs when a person feels they have run out of solution to problems that seem inescapable, intolerably painful, and never-ending. On the other end of the spectrum, however, are people who wish for pills to cut their lives short. There are always two sides of a coin. If tossed, the bet is to either live or die. Head to live, tail to die. For one man, the coin happened to land on the tail. Ironically, you'll never know if a person will be committing suicide or not. But there are warning signs. Just talking about it makes the intensity of the stigma a little bit less. I have handled patients who have had suicidal thoughts, and I have found that just allowing and accepting the thoughts behind the idea of suicide may be one of the major ways to fight it. Thoughts of suicide, as deviant as they may sound, represent an attempt to solve problems for some people. It may even represent a desire to make things better. Acknowledging such thinking can open doors. It's time to talk about suicide with the aim to bring its number down to 0. Everyone has the right to live a full life. Stop the stigma and show support. The world may not be perfect, but each of us can make it a better world to live in. In Davao City, there has been cases of suicide deaths. Most of it happened in one of the biggest malls in the city. Recently, a student from University of Southeastern Philippines committed suicide. Her case alarmed the different groups in the city because, ironically, Ruiz's case happened during the Suicide Prevention Month.
As a friend is supportive din siya ng friend, and nag-ingon pag siya nga mag-play, like sporty man siya, no? So gusto niya mag-lawn tennis ko, and giingon ko niya before mga katulad yung week siya katong Monday. So napa siya plano nga na wala pa siya plano June in itabo siya.
So, classmates na 40 years.
So, ang depression kay mental illness na ma-experience sa isang katao in which na maka-feel siya o kana unstable sa iyang sarili o kana dili siya normal for a person and possible na maka-harm siya sa kanang pagkakahanan sa isang katao kay iba na ang iyang ginaisip, hinang nasa iyang ulo o
Isa siyang cause sa isang katao it's not good for the health of one person to have a depression because na daghan siya effect like sa studies or sa imong family ug daghan pod og factors na nag-gain ang depression and
disorder in which tao mag-manifest of somehow hallucinations.
Kung magod sa depression, depende mo na sa focus nimo. Focus nimo ba na kay sa problem nimo nga di masolve gani. Kung focus nimo. Kung straight ka focus ana niya, wala kang kamulihot. Mo na magkakuan sa depression. Ng frustration. Mabulit ko frustrated ka. Kasi frustrated ang tao, dahil naman sa kanya ma-depression.
So, depression is a serious mental illness. It's usually the cause of suicide, and the symptoms are first, you lose interest in activities that you used to love. Second, you either sleep too much or sleep too little. So either insomnia ka or during the day, kaya parang most of the day you spend it sleeping. And then drastic weight loss or weight gain. So you either eat too much or you eat too little, and parang feeling of nothingness, kumbaga. More than being sad siya, because one of the biggest na parang misconceptions on depression is na you just feel sad all the time, pero it's more than just being sad. Parang add to that those symptoms na na-mention ko earlier, yun ang depression. And people don't take it seriously kasi nga the stigma on mental health is that since it doesn't have any discernible physical component, it's not as serious as cancer or diabetes. Especially here sa atin, sa Philippines, Filipino culture, parang kung hindi siya physical, hindi siya seryoso. But the thing about mental health is that it affects the way you think, the way you behave, the way you act. So it's if you think about it, it's more serious than yung physical na health issues. So,
okay. Depression, or otherwise known as mental healthness of an individual. First, it's hard to detect depression because the person may mask her current self-image. Siguro what is important is for emotionally significant people to be available whenever the person experiences depression. I remember the time when a student wanted to commit suicide in the Ateneo sa 5th floor. I was able to talk to the person. So after that, I was able to talk to the parents. So na-prevent yung suicide. The person is now in 4th year, so about to finish college. But then, if there are no significant person, the absence of significant person in the life of the person who is depressed, so there's always a tendency for the person to think about something else. Like the most common scenario is to commit suicide. So that's the most common scenario. Or if not, yung malulun sa droga, alcohol, o makipagbarkada na, wala nang ibang iniisip. Okay? So that is usually the case, no? So the person would have to look for coping mechanisms in her or his life. So if there are no more coping mechanisms, so the person will, you know, the last is actually to commit suicide. Okay, so naubos na yung, wala na siyang pag-asa sa drugs. Tapos mga barkada niya, parang ginagamit lang siya. Tapos, barkada, yung kainuman niya, so nawala na rin siya ng gana sa kainuman niya. So, ang last resort niya, nawala pa yung emotional significant person sa kanyang buhay. So, the last resort is for the person to commit suicide. Okay. So, we have to be careful. No? We have to ask the different events, no, that happen in different events and persons that is emotionally significant for this person. Okay. So, like the members of the family, brothers, sisters, father, and mother. But most important is the role of the father and mother in the family. So if the person comes from a separated family, so we have to check the relationship with the father, the relationship with the mother.
No one in this world will ever obtain the qualifications to commit suicide. So don't. Nothing will be settled or solved by committing suicide. On the contrary, it will only make existing problems more serious. And those responsibilities are left for your loved ones to deal with. Not to mention pushing your friends and family to a grave of depression.